How's your mind? How's your body? And how is your soul? It's Thursday, the 11th day in the month of July 2024. I walked into a supermarket this morning and something about the date came up. And the supermarket attendant said something like this: "Oh, this year don't end." And I laughed because I'm not the only one who is counting down to 2025. Anyway, my name is Denise Dennis-Wall. How are you doing today? Don't ask me about the song Ifechukwu Moile chose to play because I don't even understand the song. And I'm so glad that what about us? What about us what? I don't know. I don't care. He should do whatever he likes with his life, man, because I'm tired of him. I don't know. His behavior is not behaving well. What are we talking about today on the sunny side? Car ownership in Nigeria. That conversation takes us up until 1 o'clock, and then we'll go on the news break for trending stories. And then there is a recorded program, and then we'll have chit chat. But 2 to 3 p.m., Mind, Body, and Soul, we'll look at misconceptions around immunization vaccines. Dr. Urang Joseph, State Immunization Officer, is going to be in the studio with me for that conversation. How receptive and willing are you to receive an immunization vaccines? Huh? And then he will also be answering some questions on what immunization vaccines are available in Nigeria for children and adults, and what exactly do they prevent. All immunizations free, all vaccines free. And from his years of experience in the field, what are the common misconceptions surrounding the different immunization vaccines, and so many more. So I will be looking forward to that conversation, and I expect you to as well. Without further ado, shall we dive right into the first conversation for today? Let's consider this more like a throwback conversation. Several years ago, you could literally count the number of persons that own vehicles in your neighborhood or in Nigeria as a whole. And while some owned it for personal use, others owned it for commercial purposes. Hence the transport system as we have it currently in Nigeria. I remember growing up on the balcony of number 10 Bernard Carr Street and seeing the vehicles that passed every day on that road. I still remember the popular brands as at that time. There was the Mercedes, there was the Peugeot, there was Mitsubishi, there was this one is coming, and there was Nissan, there was Volvo, Honda, Toyota, not so popular back then. But there was what's this one called? The Beetle, what some people call Totti's vehicle. But you see, anytime we saw someone own a vehicle, we saw them like big men. True. Big men. Even the so-called Nollywood movies back then that would portray people that were involved in money rituals, those were the kind of cars they would buy. And then, of course, we started seeing Jeep. Before we saw the likes of the Prado, the Land Cruiser, the Land, what's this other one called now? The Range Rover, and other sports utility vehicles. Remember the period of subsidy removal? Saw people selling cars as they could no longer cope with the cost of fuel and maintenance. So it wasn't just fuel they had to contend with. Guess how much one tire costs now, depending on the brand and, of course, the size, because the tires have numberings. How much tires cost now? What about car batteries? What about engine oil? What about some of those basic things like hydraulic fluid and brake pads and brake lining? All of those things that usually will come up during car maintenance. What about automatic transmission fluid, gear oil, and the rest? They're not cheap anymore. Well, some chose to sell, maybe desperate times, they were in dire need of cash. Others sought other uses for them beyond personal and household use. Many people now use their vehicles for drop. You dey go, Choba to Rumokuta, Others will use them for e-hailing services. You register with the apps and then you book them, they come and they pick you. So don't be surprised that some of these big luxury vehicles are now being used for such things. But they are cars, and you will agree with me that they are cars. They are regular vehicles and they are luxury vehicles, ranging from the V4 engine to the V6 to the V8 engines, depending on the one you can afford and maintain. You see, but for fuel economy, the V4 engine, 4-plug, is usually the preferred option. Very economical. Can put full tank. Depends on how you move around and to take you, to take you far. V6 engine, you get top fuel. The V8 engine, even worse. So people that are even buying cars these days, when they ask you, okay, is it Nigerian use? Is it brand new? Is it Tokumbo? How many plug? How many cylinder engine? They ask those questions because as much as they want to own them, they want to equally be sure that the journey ahead, nobody is competing with them. When we're talking about cars, I will tell you, as humans, we are social creatures and will give anything to feel accepted and have a sense of belonging. We completely forget all the social aspects of vehicle ownership while contemplating to buy one. Upward mobility. Upward, like the more you grow, you have to start acquiring certain things. You have to start owning certain things. Upward mobility is a double-edged sword. In a manner of speaking, you are now empowered with your newfound privileges. You graduated, you have a job, you have a successful business. Whether it is owning a personal vehicle or having a house of your own. But do you possess the discipline and restraint to not become a victim of your own impulses and checkmate yourself in the process? In practical terms, does owning a car give you an edge situation in human relationships? Buy a car today. You probably need drinks for your neighbors. Hey! Stanley. Level increases the size of your neighbors. Sometimes the would matter. And all the time, a car is one 2011. I had this neighbor. As at that time, he bought a Volkswagen. I'm trying to remember the model now. Not the luxury vehicle. It was a big car. He bought a car. And I saw all my neighbors tapping into his blessings. Say, I'm not going to afford you. I don't drive for you. Hailing him. But you know another thing I noticed? He got more friends. People that were not talking to him well before started him and talking to him more. And yes, more neighbors started asking him for financial favor. That they were going to collect and not pay back. They were hoping he would forget. But they started being big man level. So with the car came more, I don't know, around him. I'm sure when he told his family members, brother, don't make my brother just go to next week they start. But then again, respect. People that is so vehicles. Welcome. Doesn't matter how big or small you are. But does it indeed give you an edge? What are the real reasons why you own or would want to own a car? 0827 926 0002 and 0817 926 0. Program number is 809. Info 9.3 ph. WhatsApp program is the automatic. I have been since I so late and how I pick and when I was on my again move on.
Most times mobility.
But you have friends and you had relatives. He did with us. Mobility before me. A lot of people who'd want to own a vehicle. I mean, there is that independence and freedom. There's privacy. There's safety. It saves time. You could take pleasure trips. There's flexibility. But what we call health and emergencies. Sometimes things happen and you need a vehicle. That's not yes. Friend. Think about it. You're giving a proposal. You showed up for the meeting. Probably they saw you from their window. And you boarded and along. And you're giving them a quotation for millions. And you're looking like you and saying, this person will board along. You know, you show up for that proposal. And you came your own vehicle. The kind of vehicle, the fact that you actually came with a vehicle. You drove down to the place. Romantic relationships. I hear that some men, till today, still borrow their friends' cars. Or pick up for a date or to impress a lady. Do ladies still bother about these things? Did he come with a car? I'm just thinking out loud. Nigerian info, good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. From Barrio. Thank you for joining us.
The other day you talked about
4 days indeed.
I've not got my sister.
Okay.
Ever I want to travel. The one that recently
Mm.
those areas.
All right. Thank you, Akanto. Nigerian food. Mm.
People going
Mm.
the private cars. Place necessary for you because they don't. I want and they are what do they call them? They are using bicycles where at the front is using bicycles, following them. I don't why or to stop. So the motto was meant to do you not for hands should not by if you don't have the hold up, it's from movie.
Because what day will you talk about the past?
Me, I started stand you meet would trick.
All right, thank you too. Welcome to the
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
On the You come between you. Yeah. You stop using this. Then you can use and general sound just because of ordinary.
Son.
Yeah. Number 4. Thank God you have look at it.
Mm.
War.
Is war. Would be earlier the high in the just some cruise. Oh, to
My experience in Nigeria, and it was big that people have access to money. When the sorry, 1977, that was
We need to go on a commercial now. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you.
Side right here, 0.3 Nigerian taking ownership in break. I can final, and I but then X 93